Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Monday, June 23rd, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $sign ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Seattle Mariners versus the Minnesota Twins. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Monday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, the best catcher in baseball, big dumper Cal Raleigh. And on the right, one of the center fielders that has had an amazing season this year. A lot of injuries in the past, but great to see him playing well in 2025, Byron Buxton. So let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, catching today for Seattle, big dumper Cal Raleigh. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing today for the Mariners, Jorge Polanco. Batting fifth, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting sixth, playing first base, Luke Raley. Batting seventh, playing right field, Dominic Canzone. Batting eighth, playing third base, Ben Williamson. And batting ninth, playing second base, Cole Young. And on the mound for the Mariners, one of our aces, 6-4 record, ERA of 3.12. It is Brian Whoa. And now let's get into the starting lineup here for the home Minnesota Twins. Leading off for the Minnesota Twins, center fielder Byron Buxton. Batting second, DHing today for Minnesota, Matt Wallner. Batting third, playing third base, Brooks Lee. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, playing right field, Trevor Larnach. Batting fifth, playing shortstop for the Twins, Carlos Correa. Batting sixth, the former Seattle Mariner first baseman, Ty France. Batting seventh, playing second base, Cody Clemens. Batting eighth, playing left field, Harrison Bader. And batting ninth, catching today for the Twins, Christian Vasquez. And on the mound for the Twins with a 4-4 record, an ERA of 4.54, it is Bailey Ober. And we're going to be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 50 or more overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. Obviously a global broadcast here on FS1, so everyone across the world will be watching. And again, we want to make sure we're setting the tone early and often. This is going to be a 4-game series on the road, not a traditional 3. So the goal going in, since we were able to beat the Chicago Cubs as being one of the top 5 teams in baseball right now and winning 2 out of 3 at Wrigley, we're going to be shooting for 3 wins out of 4. And I know that's a little aggressive, to go 3 wins out of 4, but we have some ground to make up after, that 9 consecutive series win streak ended. We were terrible for about a month and a half, and we were 8 games above 500 and had a good chunk and a good lead on the Houston Astros. Now, when you look up at the standings, it's not looking too good for Seattle. We're only a couple games above 500, so we do need to make up some ground. It could be worse, but we are 39-37, 19-18 on the road. But if we can win 3 out of 4 and then take 2 out of 3 against the Texas Rangers on the next series on the road as well before we come back home, that could definitely put us in a better position to catch up to the Houston Astros. So hopefully we'll be able to get the bats to come alive. It's the first time that we were able to put up that many runs, in a 3-game set. And again, with the Cubbies, if you can throw up 7 runs minimum, on 3 games, and put up that many runs like the Mariners did, again, we should be able to compete with anybody. But hopefully the magic number will be 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And if we can get that, we should be able to compete here today. Daniel in the building, what's good? Odin in the building, what's good? Captain in the building, what's good? And just like I was thinking, let's try to get win number 40 here today. You read my mind. Let's go, baby. I am ready. And again, Bailey Ober on the mound, 15 starts, 4-4 record, 4.54 ERA. And leading it off for us is going to be shortstop J.P. Crawford. And him getting a hit, at his first at-bat is so crucial to this team's success. And hopefully he can get on base, and that'll trickle over to Julio and Cal. And again, if he doesn't get on his first at-bat, hopefully it'll be the second. Because the faster that we can get the top of the order going, the middle and the back end should do their job. And the crazy thing, they got Luke Raley playing first after Donovan Solano has been on a heater. I don't know. I never thought I would say this, but why isn't Donovan Solano playing first base? You could have put Luke Raley somewhere else like DH over Polo, but hopefully, we get to see, Donovan Solano. Never thought I would say that later in the game, but he's been raking and playing well. First pitch to J.P. Crawford. Fouled off high and away. Four-seam fastball, 91 miles an hour by Bailey Ober, 0-1 count. But a lot of things can change, from the beginning of the year where we thought, oh, God, Donovan Solano, Miles Mastrobuoni, golly, Mitch Garver and Jorge Polanco, no way. 0-1 pitch in play, and Crawford fouls out to third, 1 away. So I don't get my wish for him getting off a leadoff hit or getting on base with a walk or getting plunked, but I still feel that we can get it done. Next up is center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And we know Garver and Polo were terrible last year. Polo was hot at the beginning of the year. Garver really hasn't been good in either season, obviously last year and this year, but lately he's been pretty hot. So we'll take that, and a nice catch by Brooks Lee on JP at third on that first out. But again, it's all about momentum, right? And who's playing well right now. So again, if a guy is on a heater, right, like Donovan Solano, you want him playing every day. For a guy like Julio Rodriguez and Dylan Moore, these guys are cold. We know they can heat up. At least I know Julio can. I don't know about Dylan Moore since he's not an everyday player, but hopefully we'll be able to turn those 2 seasons around with Julio and Dylan Moore to join the party. 1-0 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ober to Julio. And let's go, J-Rod. Production is very, very minimal. You haven't hit a home run in over a month. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Ober on the mound, Julio in the box. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. And, I'm just hoping that something good can eventually, be positive for Julio. Donovan Solano had 5 ribbies yesterday. Julio has, and this is crazy to say, Julio has only, and look at what day we're in right now, right? Donovan Solano ended up having 5 ribbies yesterday and 2 home runs, right? As that pitch gets fouled off by Julio, full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Julio has only got 2 RBIs in all of June. Let's look at the calendar. Holy hell, June 23rd. So obviously one of the worst months, for Julio in a minute. And obviously we know that he doesn't start very strong in March and April. May was fantastic, but June is looking like March and April again. And 2 ribbies is just unacceptable. 3-2 pitch, and he gets struck out looking. And his struggles continue at the box. And we know that we love him as a defensive player at center field. But again, on the bases has been getting thrown out a little bit more frequently, striking out, looking and swinging a lot more in June. Something's got to give. I don't know what it is. You got to be able to watch more tape. You got to spend more time with Ichiro, Seitzer, and Edgar Martinez. Take the ego out the door. You're not the face of the franchise anymore. I don't know what has to happen, but I'm still rooting for you, Julio Rodriguez. Next up, in the 3-hole, big dumper, catcher, Cal Raleigh. First pitch right down the middle, fouled off, 0-1 count. And hopefully we get some good electricity here at the top of the order. I know JP can do his job, but again, out of everyone in the starting lineup, is it crazy to say that Julio is the biggest liability in the box out of all 9 guys? I even have more faith in Williamson and Young as rookies from AAA, the Tacoma Rainiers. I have more faith in them getting a hit in June than I do Julio. So I don't know if Julio needs to get walked, or plunked, but at least get on base somehow, some way. So that way that, that 2-hole spot isn't wasted. And maybe we should start considering dropping Julio on the lineup and putting him at the 5, 6, 7 hole and get someone a little bit more productive with JP and Cal, someone in the middle of that can get the job done. Just a suggestion there, Dan Wilson. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ober to Raleigh. Let's go, big dumper. Let's get it, baby. Right ends up. And Cal strikes out. Damn it. And again, nice inning by Bailey Ober. Nothing for the Mariners there in the top of the first. And anytime you get Cal striking out, looking or swinging, it's not too bad. Again, it's going to happen from time to time. This happens, frequently, 2, 3 times, 4 times a game. You're not going to see Cal strike out that often. Every once in a while, he'll have a game where he strikes out 2 or 3 times, but I definitely think that he'll be productive later in the matchup. All right, let's go here to the bottom of the first inning. And on the mound for the Mariners, let's see if we can get him back on track. It feels like every starting pitcher, hasn't really been showing their best stuff. Logan Gilbert got roughed up. Brian Wu has been getting roughed up lately. Luis Castillo, Logan Evans, when he was up. Emerson Hancock hasn't looked good. Bryce Miller is still on the IL. And again, it feels like our starting pitching is reeling a little bit, right? And I feel at this point, each guy, or even if it's Brian Wu or Logan Gilbert or George Kirby, they're going to give up like 4 runs. That's kind of what it is. Normally you want them to give up 3 or less, but lately it's been 4 runs or more. And that's okay if you give up 4 runs or more if you score more than 4, right? If we get 5 to 10 runs a game or we explode on the Cubs like we did in that series, you can give up 4 runs by Kirby. You can give up 4 runs by Logan Gilbert and you'll be just fucking fine. But again, hopefully the pitching will get better. Bullpen has gotten better. Hitting has gotten better, but now starting pitching is a question. And it's kind of funny, if you watch the Mariners, they never can do all 3 at the same time. It's either great pitching, starting, bullpen sucks, hitting sucks, or, hitting is great now, but now starting pitching isn't good, or, the bullpen is great, but, we can't hit and we can't have any good starting pitching. But now we have 2 out of 3. We're hitting really well. The bullpen is doing pretty good. Now we just got to get the starters back on track. Odin in the building, what's good? Captain in the building, Jerry in the building, what's good? Let's go, baby. What's good, brother? How are you? And Odin's getting us started with a $20 holla. Let me know how Monday Night Raw is going. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. First pitch to Buxton in play and grounds out to the shortstop. JP, throw to first. Luke Raley's there. 1 away. There we go. And again, Byron Buxton, a guy that had so much talent, obviously in the minor leagues, and you heard about him, in a lot of baseball circles. He's never really been able to stay healthy for a full season in a long time. Having a great year. 285 average, one of the best players on the Twins this year. We're going to have to limit the damage out of Byron in this series if we want to win. Nice first out with that slow dribbler to Buxton to JP to Luke Raley. 1 away. Next up, Matt Wallner. First pitch, foul ball. High and inside by Wallner from Brian Wu, 0-1 count. And we need a solid Brian Wu performance. Hopefully he'll be able to get somewhere between 7 to 10 Ks and pitch 6 solid innings. If we're lucky, 7. And again, if he ends up, getting roughed up a little bit, it'll probably be, pulled in the 5th. We're going to have to try to stick it out as long as we can. And bullpen has been better. But you still want your starters to go as long as possible. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees with the changeup. 89 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike from Wu to Walner. Let's go, Brian. We need you, baby. Bottom of the first, 0-0, Mariners and Twins. Shout out to Odin's son for getting us on the board right out of the gates. I appreciate you. A brother from another mother, from the West Coast to the East Coast. I love you, bro. 1-1 pitch in play. Grounds out to JP. Throw to first again. 2 away. JP getting active here early on. And again, you're going to see JP, Cole Young. They're going to be a lot of action with second base and shortstop here today. And we'll see how good Luke Raley can play first base. Obviously, Donovan Solano has been on a heater lately. I was actually kind of hoping that he was playing today, which is a weird thing to say, but he's been great lately. And again, terrible at the beginning of the year, and obviously fantastic within the last 2 to 3 weeks. And hopefully it'll keep continuing for the Mariners. First pitch to Brooks Lee, high and away, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Brian Wu. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Sinker fouled off low and away by Brooks Lee. 1 ball and 1 strike from Wu to Lee. Let's go, baby. Appreciate that, Dave. Again, I don't think a lot of people expected the Mariners to beat the Cubs, let alone if it was at T-Mobile in Seattle, but to be, on the road at Wrigley and with all of our struggles that we've had, after the, 9 consecutive series win streak ended. But if you remember, we did sweep the Guardians, and, when you end up, winning a series against a team like that, good things can happen. 1-1 pitch in play, and Lee singled to center. Nice hit by Brooks Lee. Next up, right fielder Trevor Larnach. One-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, 1 ball and 1 strike from Wu to Larnach. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees with the sinker. 2 balls and 1 strike from Wu to Larnach. Two-one pitch. Big swing and a miss, low and at the knees. Nice pitch there by Brian Wu. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. I had to double check, because again, we do so many games here. And as soon as I said it, I was like, we did sweep the Guardians, right? Because we were playing so bad. And I had to double check. I was like, I'm pretty sure we swept them. Not 1, 2 out of 3 and just won the series, but we did sweep them. And again, when you end up sweeping teams on the regular and winning series left and right, and then all of a sudden you suck ass for a month and a half, you start to kind of forget when the good things start to happen for your team lately. But, obviously the Red Sox series was a little bit tougher, than that Guardian series. But again, winning 2 out of 3 at Wrigley was nice. And again, I got a lot of hope for this team for the rest of the way. 2-2 pitch, low and in the zone. Should have been called strike right down the middle with the slider. I don't know what that was about. And that ends up being a 6-pitch walk. Larnach to first. Now you got runners at first and second with 2 outs. Next up, shortstop Carlos Correa. And we got to make sure we limit the damage with Correa and Buxton. These guys love to be able to get singles, doubles, and homers. And again, we have to limit the damage. If Buxton and Correa are going to homer, it has to be solo jacks. We can't give up 3-run homers, 2-run jacks, grand salamis. It's going to be really tough to climb out of that hole. Just like if we were to hit, a 3-run jack with Cal Raleigh. They look at that 3-0 score. They know they're in trouble. First pitch right down the middle by Brian Wu. Takes a strike looking with a slider, 88 miles an hour, a 1 count. DJ in the building. What's good? Nice. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out, but again, I know they'll sell out, even though Oakland has that, history, with the Athletics. But, obviously the fans started to boycott the owner and, they weren't showing up. So if you want to be able to be not only profitable, but have, a fan base that actually cares and shows up, something needed to happen. 1-1 pitch and big swing and a miss high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Correa. Got to get Carlos out. He was a thorn in our side with the Stros, and he's still a thorn in our side in Minnesota. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second with 2 outs. They're threatening already. Yeah, nice to be able to win, and especially when you can do things as a first. Like when we went to Boston at the beginning of the year and we won the series there 2 out of 3. That was the first time that we did that in 10, 11 years. So we're definitely, on the right path. But we want to make sure that we're playing players while they're hot and not benching a guy like Donovan Solano as he's been playing very, very well. And I'm actually kind of shocked that they decided not to play him in game 1. If you wanted to give him a rest day, as that one is fouled off by Correa, 2 balls and 2 strikes, you could have chose Luke Raley over Polo at DH and no one would have blinked an eye. But again, even though Solano was one of the worst players at the beginning of the year with Mitch Garver and Trent Thornton, and Correa strikes out swinging. That's my boy, Wu. There we go. But again, you want to make sure that, sports is about Uncle Mo. And everyone knows that I made Uncle Mo up, and people love to steal the catchphrases here, right? Not only, on NFL Network, but other shows as well. But Uncle Mo, he ain't your favorite uncle, right? It's Uncle Momentum. And momentum is real in sports. And again, you want to make sure that you're keeping the hot hands playing. And again, Dylan Moore not playing, not hurting anybody's feelings. Julio, obviously only 2 RBIs in June. He might be the only guy that could have a stat line like that we still would want to play because he is a good defender in center field. And again, he hasn't really been great on the base paths. He's been getting thrown out more this year than we've seen in recent years. So I don't know what the lack of focus is. But again, we still have a better chance of winning with Julio in the lineup rather than not. And hopefully he'll be able to turn it around sooner than later. But Wu getting out of the jam, and that's exactly what we needed. End of the first inning, and we're knotted up still at 0. Great job by Wu for us not to be down, by 1, 2, 3 runs early. Appreciate you, Odin. I don't think with the Mariners I've really had a whole lot of heartbreaking moments, if I'm really being honest. All day in the building, what's good? Just because we, in reality, for some people, they have winning seasons and they go to the playoffs every year like the Dodgers. The Mariners really have only had like 5 good years in 40 years of baseball. Obviously 95 with the Griffey slide, right? 95 slide, 97 with Griffey's, AL MVP year. Big homer year, 2001, Ichiro's rookie year after Griffey left, right? And we ended up winning almost 120 games, like 116, but fell to the Yankees. That was the best team that we've ever constructed. 2022, when Cal walked off on the Athletics and we ended up making the playoffs for the first time in 20 plus years. And I believe this year will be one of those years, 95, 97, 2001, and obviously 2022. And I believe 2025, even though we're only 2 games up above 500 right now, I do think that we can get a wild card or win the division over the Stros if we get hot late in the year after the All-Star break. And I do think this will be another year. So I would say, probably the most disappointing was probably the 2001 year, just because the team was so fucking good from top to bottom. But again, we haven't really had enough good seasons to have a lot of heartbreak, if I'm being honest. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ober to Polanco. Ooh, that's cool. You want me to use those photos, Odin, that you sent me? Let me know what you want. Bobby Witt Jr., the photos that you sent me, let me know what you're looking at. And I got you. Zay in the building. What's good? Polo on the 1-2 pitch, in play, and grounds out to second, throw to first, one away. Next up, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Let's go, Randy. First pitch, high and away with a four-seam fastball, 1-0 count. I got you. 1-0 pitch, fouled off right down the middle with a four-seam fastball. 1-1 strike from Ober to Arozarena. 4-4 record with an ERA of 4.54. So nothing really to fear. Again, we feel that we can hit anybody. But again, it's all about starting early and often. And obviously, we're a team that hits home runs. So again, we have to make sure we have a couple of those in the matchup. 49% of our runs total are home runs. When we don't get home runs, guess what? We don't win. Even we have to get a minimum of one to be able to win to help us get to that magic number: 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Randy, and he is similar to Julio. The only difference is Randy is a little bit better, obviously, with the singles, the doubles, being a little bit more patient, and he gets plunked the most on the team since Ty France is no longer on the Mariners, but we will be seeing him shortly, obviously, in the near future. Next up, first baseman Luke Raley. And again, I like the production that we've been able to get out of Mitch Garver, Donovan Solano, Luke Raley, and Dominic Canzone recently. And again, we loved Rowdy Tellez and Leody Taveras, but banking on Garver and Solano, or Solano and Canzone, that was the right decision. And again, just imagine if we didn't have Solano and Canzone and we had Taveras and Rowdy, we probably would have gotten swept by the Cubs or only won one game. So nice to be able to see that the decisions that the Mariner organization made were actually the right ones for the first time in a long time. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1-2 strikes from Ober to Raley. STL with a fiver. What's good? 1-2 pitch, in play, and Raley hit by a pitch. Okay. As long as he doesn't get hurt, I'm okay with that. Raley to first. Next up, right fielder Dominic Canzone. National champions, the Natty, LSU. I see you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 25, 75 to go. Jade versus Cody. Jade versus Roxanne. Bailey versus Becky. Nice. I did see, I usually check out Wrestle Ops at the very beginning of the morning. But obviously with the, bombings, over there in the Middle East, obviously it makes it kind of a scary situation for some of the WWE talent, trying to make it to Saudi Arabia, obviously for the PLE very shortly. So, obviously with, Raw or SmackDown or, Saturday night or any kind of PLE, all you want is for people to be safe, and hopefully that will be the case. 1-1 pitch, in play. Canzone grounds out to second, and that is the end of the Mariners there in the top of the second inning. Got some Bobby Witt Jr. here for Odin. And then I'll get you a couple of those photos that you sent me, and then we'll get STLs just in a second. Love Bobby Witt Jr. Me and my best friend, Justin, we made it a point in Bobby Witt Jr.'s rookie year, which was the same year as Julio, that we were going to go watch them play, and I actually got a Julio Rodriguez rookie foul ball in that game. And Bobby is an incredible player. You could already tell right out of the very gates that he was going to be a star. and that he had a good chance to be on the Julio level or surpass him. And again, as far as consistency is concerned, he has surpassed him, and hopefully Julio will be able to catch up to Bobby Witt Jr. one day. We may see that, we may not, but again, they're both incredibly talented. Congratulations to the Thunder for winning the championship for the NBA. Unfortunately, when you watch NBA celebrations compared to the NFL, MLB, and the NHL, there's no emotion, and again, it's really sad because, I know there's certain people like Captain Oreo, and a few of the others that are in the room that still watch, but man, it's like, everything that we talk about the NBA during the preseason, the regular season, the playoffs, it's all about pride and emotion. And you don't really see that from NBA players. You see it from the NHL, you see it from the NFL, you see it in college sports, football and baseball, hell, even in college basketball. But for whatever reason, not a lot of emotion there. But I am happy that the Thunder ended up getting the job done, which they should have. They were the best team, in the NBA this year. 1-0 pitch in play, and Ty France getting a double to center. Ty staying active, and again, we have to make sure we limit the damage for his revenge game, which we already played them, obviously, in T-Mobile in the early part of the year. France had a few hits in that series, and starts off with a double here in Game 1 today. Next up, second baseman, Roger Clemens' son, Cody Clemens. Hopefully we can get a double play or a strikeout here. All right, I'm going to send the two photos that you sent me to the X account. That way I can pull them over from there. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking outside of the zone. Behind in the count, 0-2 from Wu to Clemens. 0-2 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Clemens. One-two pitch, and Clemens strikes out, swinging, baby. See ya! Nice pitch there by Brian Wu, bringing that electricity, and hopefully we can get Wu to 7 Ks here today before he ends up exiting the matchup. I don't think he'll be able to get to 8, 9, or 10, but I think getting to 7 would be a solid number, unless he really starts going on a heater on the Twins players. And the last time that we saw the Twins, they were in a much better situation. Right now, 37-40. They're 3 games below, 500. 20-15 at home, though. So they got a good home record, but have been getting beat up on the road lately. Last time that we saw them, they had a similar record to the Mariners and have definitely taken a little bit of a hit, not only in the division with the Tigers and Guardians, but also a few other teams as well. 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Wu to Bader. Iron Maiden. Oh, nice. Yeah. That big renovation. Two-one pitch. Fouls that one off low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 1 out. the NBA play a lot of games, and yeah, they might treat it like a game. But again, if you go back and look at like Kobe Bryant, when he won a championship, Jordan, when he won a championship, Tim Duncan and the Spurs when they won championships, it was a different era, and again, I just feel like with the NBA, it's, they just, are a little entitled, overpaid, and they just really don't care, and again, it shows, not only with the ratings, but with the fans and the support. You're still going to get people that are loyal to that sport, from watching it from back when they were kids or whatever situation where they have a, some kind of connection, but again, it's just kind of a, frightening thing to see when someone can win a championship, right? And you don't really show any fucking emotion at all. And, again, in the NHL, it means something. In the NFL, it means something. In college football, it means something. Hell, even for college basketball, it means something. In baseball, it means something, and you see the emotion. And it's not like fake emotion where you're jumping up and down for, the cameras or for social media. It's truly, they care. And I hope one day that the NBA will, get back to where it was, but I highly doubt it. It all depends on the leaders that you have, the frontmen of the sport. And with no Jordan or Kobe, leading the way, LeBron James can't hold it down, and obviously LeBron, not the most respected, overall. So Bader safe at first by a fielding error by JP. And now we got runners on the corners at first and third and one out. Next up, from Wu to Vasquez. First pitch, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. I got the two photos loaded up that you sent me. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging right down the middle from Vasquez. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners on the corners at first and third and 1 out. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. Nice job by Brian Wu. And again, it just feels like the starting pitching, regardless if it's Logan Gilbert or George Kirby, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, Emerson Hancock, it just seems like everyone has been a little off. And you got to give the hitters credit on the other teams, but we're not really as dominant as we were at the beginning of the year, and we've been injured. We didn't have Logan Gilbert for a couple months. We didn't really have George Kirby for 50-plus games. We had Bryce Miller, but he wasn't good. He was injured, and he was playing through the injury with his elbow and back, and he's back on the IL. Anna in the building, what's good? So I just hope, that we can get out of these early jams, and so far so good. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and Wu getting out of the jam here again, 2 away. 1 more out, Brian, let's go. But you got to be careful because now we're back at the top of the order with their best player this year in 2025, center fielder Byron Buxton. And with 1 swing, it could be 3-0 Minnesota. Yeah, but even with Halliburton, anytime you end up having an injury where you tear a ligament, you tear an ACL, MCL, PCL, or your quad or, your Achilles and you pop it, even if that didn't happen, I don't really think that would have really changed a whole lot. And again, maybe they thought that they were going to win in 5 or they were going to win in 6, but it's just not the same league, that I grew up loving, back in the 80s and 90s. And again, you have to have good frontmen of the league. And not only that, you don't have David Stern anymore. That was a big part of the NBA being successful as well. Adam Silver is not good at his job, and again, it's like you got, names that are still out there like LeBron and KD, but they're not the same players, as they once were. And I do like some of the young and up and coming stars like Anthony Edwards and SGA, but it's just not the same league that it was even 10, 15 years ago, which is, a little shocking, but not really. Bottom of the second with runners on the corners at first and third. Wu on the mound, Buxton in the box. First pitch, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. .0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Wu to Buxton. I mean, for me, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so I got to watch Bird, in the prime, Magic in the prime, Jordan in the prime, Barkley in the prime, David Robinson. And then the next wave after all the guys in the 80s, the big wave was 92 with Shaq and, Alonzo Mourning. And then a couple years later with Iverson and, obviously a few others in that era, Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, and again, it just felt like it was more competitive and people cared more, about the game. And I feel like after Kobe left and after the Spurs run was over and Kobe retired, the last, 10, 15 years, it just really hasn't been the same. And again, anyone that is over 40, will agree. Because again, if you go back and watch, and obviously watching highlights on YouTube doesn't do it justice than actually being there live, and Buxton strikes out swinging. There we go on the 2-2 pitch. And Wu gets out of the jam again. Nice job by Brian Wu. But again, also, you had some of the best players, the more top 50 players that played in the 80s and 90s than in any other era. So you had the best players playing, in that era. And again, NBA used to be number one for me growing up. But again, now it might be dead last for me. And some games are almost unwatchable. But I am glad the Thunder, finally got it done. It would have been a travesty for the league, for SGA not to win MVP, regular season, finals MVP, and obviously win the championship. And I think if it would have been Celtics, Thunder, it still would have been not the greatest ratings, but it would have been better than what the Pacers, and the Pacers, earned it with Halliburton and company. But again, I just think a majority of the country, they don't give a shit about the Indiana Pacers. Only people care about the Pacers are the people that were betting on them, or, if you're an Indiana Pacer fan. But I feel like as far as a finals matchup, that was one of the worst that we've seen in years. And we've had a different winner, the last 7-8 years. But again, parity is one thing when you actually care about the sport, but when you're just kind of going through the motions, again, it just feels like, the lack of caring, for that sport. I hope that they can get back to at least the MLB, NHL, NFL level, but at least they ended up getting the ring. And I know, obviously, a few people, including Captain, are happy. Yeah, but again, if you're a young person, you don't understand what it was like, in the Jordan era, in the Kobe era, actually watching games, live, while they were happening. When you watch highlights, you kind of get an idea, but it's not the same as actually living it. And when you live it and you watch guys, like Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and Barry Sanders and Bo Jackson, and, you're seeing Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor, and you're seeing Jordan and Bird and Magic, Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux, when you're seeing all of these legends and GOATs, Ken Griffey Jr. in their prime, it's just not the same watching a highlight reel now. But, I'm glad they did get the job done, but ratings definitely took a hit by playing the Pacers in the final. I would have rather seen the Celtics in the final, and it would have been a little bit more interesting, in my opinion. First pitch from Ober to Ben Williamson. Takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. And here's that first one with the Iron Maiden stage, which is incredible. Love that. And I'm happy that you're able to go to some concerts from time to time. And there's some custom work that you did for a big Yankee fan. And again, you get these fans, that want to be able to renovate little mini bars in their houses. And I can only imagine the money that guy has invested in his little man cave there in New York. 0-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. Behind the count. No balls and 2 strikes from Ober to Williamson. But like I said, watching Jordan in his prime, Bird, Magic, you don't see players playing now that are on that level. You just don't. Even with the guys like LeBron and KD, they weren't on that level. Like Magic and Bird did things that you never seen before, even to this day. Like we saw guys like Jason Kidd and Steve Nash try to play like them with some fancy passes or white chocolate, Jason Williams, but it wasn't what Magic and Bird gave you, and again, for taller players to pass like point guards, like they were filming And One, mixtape tour in the 80s and 90s. That's what it was like watching back then. And obviously the closest thing to Jordan is Kobe, not LeBron, even though LeBron thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Guess what? You're not. You can argue that he might be the greatest all-around player, but he doesn't have the Mamba mentality, the clutch factor. You can't go to 10 championships and win 4 and think that you're the best of all time. Jordan and Kobe are ahead of him, and it's not even close. 3-2 pitch from Ober to Williamson in play, and Williamson singles to center. And I think LeBron is fantastic, don't get me wrong. But if I had to choose between Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron, it would go in that order. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. And Kobe over LeBron any day of the week and some. Next up is Cole Young. And then STL, let me know what you want for photos. I know you already mentioned it early. Obviously in the comments, let me know again what you want here at the bottom, so that way I won't have to scroll up and I can continue here with the broadcast. Top of the third with a runner at first, and Cole Young in the box. Anna in the building, what's good? I mean, even college basketball was more exciting back then, back in the day as well. And it doesn't have to be just like the Christian Laettner, full court catch and the fadeaway and the big victory against Kentucky. It just feels like things were different in the 80s and 90s. Not only sports, but musically, movies. It just was a different era. Young reached on an infield single to the shortstop, Williamson to second, then goes to third. Hey, when you can end up getting errors, again, and we're going to have some on our end as well, but I like that we're getting some production here early from the bottom of the order. Nice job by Big Ben, and nice job with Cole Young. Runners on the corners with no outs. We're about to score. Next up is J.P. Crawford. First pitch, high and away, four-seam fastball, 89 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Let's go, JP. Let's go, Crawdaddy. We need you. 1-0 pitch. Fouls that one off with the slider. 85 miles an hour by Ober. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bailey Ober to J.P. Crawford. And remember, 4-4 record, 4.54 ERA. You're a good player, but we can get it done against you. Let's go, JP. See if we can get a nice RBI single right here. I don't think anyone would expect JP to go for a 3-run jack. That would probably be very unexpected. He does have the ability to do it, but I think RBI single would be great here. And here we go, in play. And your boy's got the ESP. It wasn't an RBI single, but it was a sac fly. Williamson scores 1-0 Mariners, and I'll take that. Next best thing, do an RBI single as a sac fly with a guy at third that's got enough speed to tag up and go home. 1-0 Mariners. Let's go, baby. Yeah, and it may not be the last, championship captain that you guys win, over there. I know a lot of Northwest fans, that were Sonics fans, were rooting against, obviously, because they feel, obviously betrayed, based on the owner and, moving the team and whatnot. But again, it's finally nice to have SGA recognized as a superstar. And just like I said at the beginning of the year, I figured that he would win MVP, finals MVP, and win the championship. I don't think anyone really had the Pacers in the finals against them, and they definitely didn't think it was going 7 games, including myself. I thought 6 at the most, but you got to give Halliburton credit as well as the Pacers. They, definitely overachieved, and there was a few games where the Thunder, kind of got punched in the mouth early and couldn't recover. So you got to give Indiana credit, but the Pacers winning the championship, I mean, that kind of would show you where the NBA is at right now. So at least that the Thunder got it done. And again, the Paul George trade is going to go down in history as one of the worst trades in sports. We don't really talk about that in basketball terms that often, but to get that load, here we go, Julio. 1-2 pitch, back, see ya! And the cold streak ends. He only had 2 RBIs in all of June. And here we go, Julio Rodriguez with a 2-run jack, 3-0 Mariners with Cole Young on board, and that is great. You just matched your RBI total of all of June right there. Way to go, Julio. And again, I had a feeling that in this series, Julio would homer. And again, nice job, J-Rod. Let's go, baby. Let's go. First pitch in play, and Cal reaches on an infield single to the pitcher. Man, we're rolling right now. And even if we end up giving up a few runs with our starting pitching, we are definitely hitting a nice kind of Uncle Mo momentum shift here on the road. And sometimes being on the road is good. You know, when you get too comfortable at home sometimes with the fans cheering you on. Sometimes you need to go on the road where everyone's booing you, and it's us against the world, right? And again, same thing goes in NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB. Sometimes, you know, when you're at home and you get a little lackadaisical and too comfortable, you know, thinking that, oh, we're going to win because we're at home, and then you get punched in the mouth and realize, oh, you know, maybe this isn't what we need right now. And nice job by Julio Rodriguez, big homer. And I'm glad to see him get off the schneid. Julio. And again, you know, we're going to criticize players when they need to be criticized, but we're also not going to beat a dead horse. You know, we still want Julio, you know, he's, whether you like him or not, you know, whether you like his contract or not, he's going to be here long term. And again, we're not a good team with him not in the lineup. We're much better. Even if he goes 0 for 5, what he does in center field defensively helps us save runs. So again, you know, he might just be a one-way player for now instead of being a two-way player, hitter, and great defender. But getting off the schneid here early, great job. And maybe Julio will go yard again. We've had this thing where we have guys hit 2 home runs in a game frequently lately. Garver, Cal Raleigh, Donovan Solano, Dominic Canzone. Can Julio add his name to the list? I sure as hell hope so. Let's go. Hell yeah. 1-1 pitch. That one's fouled off by Jorge Polanco. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ober to Polo. Stand with Ukraine in the building. What's good? I got to get Jay Johnson photos up here. In play. And lined out to center, 2 away. Crazy catch by Buxton out there. Gold Glove winner out there. Next up is Randy Arozarena. First pitch to Randy. Singles to left. And again, we're pretty aggressive here today. And again, sometimes when you're overly aggressive, you know, you're like, come on, man, let's work the count a little bit. But when you're overly aggressive and you're getting good contact on the sweet spot and you're able to make plays, then it's okay. Then you're just, you know, feeling that momentum. Nice job by Randy. Now we're in the top of the third. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. First baseman today, Luke Raley. And as soon as I saw the lineup, I was thinking, damn, we should have had Solano play again. And that might be the first time that I would have ever said that. But again, I do believe in Luke Raley. First pitch to Luke. Uh-oh. Back. See ya. Luke Raley with a 3-run jack. It's your birthday, baby. First baseman Luke Raley filling in for Donovan Solano. And he says, I am the man. Guess what, Luke? You are. Luke. 6-0 Mariners. Woo. 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 Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Again, and when you get one home run, right, what happens with the Mariners? It typically leads to another and another and another. Let's fucking go. 6-0 Mariners. And we got to win 3 out of 4. Next up is Dominic Canzone. 2-0 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and no strikes from Ober to Canzone. And the Mariners are a very good morning and afternoon team in 2025, and we're great with 2 outs. It don't even matter if we end up having 2 outs. We can go on a big fucking rally, baby. And again, sweeping the Guardians, not playing the best against Boston, with the Red Sox, playing all right. And then obviously winning 2 out of 3 at Wrigley against the Cubs. No one giving us a chance in that one. And again, off to a great start here. This is looking like the team that won 9 consecutive series in a row when we were averaging 6 runs a game for a month and a half. Fuck yeah. 3-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Ober to Canzone. And here's a little Jay Johnson action. They're from STL, LSU winning the college men's baseball championship, NCAA national champion, College World Series. 3-2 pitch, that one's fouled off low and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on. 3-2 pitch. And Canzone grounds out to second, throw to first, and that is the end of the inning, but not after the damage was done. Let's fucking go. Luke. Five home runs yesterday. How many are we going to get today? Nice job, Luke. Really stepping in. And it's kind of funny, too, because you had people hating, saying, oh, Logan Gilbert and Luke Raley when we were slumping. Those guys aren't going to make a difference. Well, they're definitely making a big difference with the team. And again, sometimes all you need is that spark. Someone that's been out of the lineup, someone that's been hurt, to give the confidence and swagger, especially a guy like this that always plays hard. Nice job by Luke Raley. Let's fucking go, baby. He said, see ya. Way to bring that electricity, Luke. We love it. 6-0 Mariners. Minnesota fans already leaving the ballpark. It's only the 3rd inning. Next up for the Twins here in the bottom of the 3rd, 0 for 1, DHing Matt Wallner. Batting second, 1 for 1, third baseman Brooks Lee. He's got that face right now in the dugout. Fuck, 6-0. And batting third, 0 for 0 with a walk, right fielder Trevor Larnach. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help your boy out. Upset Max with a $2 holla. Appreciate you, my guy. Let me know what you want to do for a photo or two, and I got you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. You got a favorite player, a favorite thing, as long as it's PG, we're good, and I'll find an HD 4K photo or 2, and I got you. First pitch to Wallner is high and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, makes a strike swinging, big swing and a miss from Wu to Wallner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Wallner. Here's another natty photo there. That one's from a couple years ago, but still wanted to throw it up for you. A little Jay Johnson action. 8 natties for LSU baseball. Incredible. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Wallner. 1-2 pitch, low and away with the changeup, 90 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Wallner.
I mean, a good majority of the fans are going to stay. They're not going to, you're not going to see half the stadium leave when a team gets down 6-0. But there definitely will be people that will be probably browsing the concessions and the beer stands a little bit more frequently now, knowing that the Mariners are already at 6 with 6 innings to go. 3-2 pitch. And big strikeout looking there from Brian Wu, 1 away. Down goes Wallner. We like that, baby. Nice job by Brian Wu. Let's keep it going, baby. But, to be fair, you're probably going to see fans of any fan base, leave early. Some people show up incredibly late, because they think it's more like a show. Like when you go to a Laker game, sometimes you see people show up at like fucking halftime, instead of the beginning of the tip-off and whatnot. So, sometimes, sporting events are treated like sports, and other times it's treated like a concert or like an event. And, you're going to get some people that come and go, but I know Minnesota fans are not happy down 6-0, and we're thrilled to be able to have this great lead early on. First pitch from Wu to Lee, fouls it off low and away, 0-1 count. Yeah, they did end up, I think trying to pass the bill to try to get, baseball back, and obviously we were kind of hoping the Athletics would come, here and whatnot. But it's a great town to be able to have it. I used to go to Portland Beaver games, back when I was younger, and I loved it. As Lee on a 1-1 pitch, singles to right. Nice hit there by Brooks Lee. But I always loved going to the Portland Beavers, back when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, back in the 80s, early 90s, when they were the affiliate to the Minnesota Twins, coincidentally, who are playing here today. And that was when they had Kirby Puckett, and they were, World Series, champions and whatnot. So, again, I do definitely miss, good AAA baseball in Oregon. That is facts. First pitch from Wu to Larnach, low and away, sinker, 95 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Michael in the building, what's good? 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Wu to Larnach. But I think Minnesota overall has good fans. I don't think they don't have like a terrible fan base. I mean, they're incredibly loyal to their team. And yeah, they might have not had a team since the Kirby Puckett era, since that time, but again, sometimes you got to hold on to greatness. I mean, look at the Dallas Cowboy fans. They're hanging on to things that happened in 92, 93, and 95 with Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin, even to this day. So again, sometimes when you're great, and then you go a long period of time of not being great, you have to hang on to those moments when you were elite. And, not every team is going to be the Dodgers, or the Yankees where you're great every single year. So 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, 2 balls and 1 strike from Wu to Larnach. 2-1 pitch, and a single to center, and Lee shifts all the way there to second. Now you got runners at first and second with 1 out. We need a double play. And again, Wu, hasn't given up anything yet, but he's been giving up, a couple hits almost every inning, and they haven't, made us pay for it yet. And it seems like that's kind of a regular thing, regardless if it's Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, or Emerson Hancock lately. It just seems like it doesn't matter who the starting pitcher is. We're going to give up 4 runs almost every game, most of the time, but hopefully we can find a way to get out of this jam again. First pitch from Wu to Carlos Correa. Takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Bottom of the third, runners at first and second, 6-0 Mariner lead. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot funner being able to call a game when you're up 6-0, not down 9-1, to the Cubs in game 2 and inning number 3. But we did come back and only lose 10-7, which I had a feeling that we would. And then it carried over to yesterday's game where we absolutely obliterated Chicago. So 0-1 pitch in play, and we got lucky. Correa, if he just would have got it on that sweet spot, that would have been a 3-run homer. Flies out to center, 2 away. And we got to limit the damage, but just because he hasn't homered yet doesn't mean that Correa won't in the series. 4-game series. Next up is Ty France with runners at second and third. And I love you, Ty. No, don't get any fucking ideas. No 3-run homers, no RBI singles, and hopefully we can get him out. He already got a hit at his first at bat. And I don't mind Ty having a great series. I just don't want him to be the reason that they win a game. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle from Brian Wu, 0-1 count. But I will always root for likable players that played on the Mariners that are no longer on our team, like Ty France here on the Minnesota Twins, as well as Eugenio Suarez, obviously on the Arizona Diamondbacks. And France grounds out to the shortstop, and there we go. I get my wish. Ty France gets nothing, and that's the end of the third inning, 6-0 Mariners. Let's go. Great game so far here by Seattle. And even though Wu hasn't been perfect, it's been good enough, by getting a couple guys on, but then, shutting that shit down when we need to. Next up, 1-for-1 with a run, third baseman Ben Williamson. Batting second, 1-for-1 with a run in the 9-hole, Cole Young. And batting third, 0-for-1 with an RBI, J.P. Crawford. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Yeah, crazy. Julio has matched his RBI total for June in that home run. Only 2 RBIs. 2 all month. So that's a slump that Julio's been on. But the nice 2-run jack, to kind of get off the schneid. I know that's going to make not only him feel great, but us Mariner fans, we're not going to forget about your struggles in June. But hopefully this is a good sign of things to come in July and after the All-Star break. I don't know. Former Mariners do good against the Mariners because we're the Mariners. And, we're not going to be the greatest pitching team, from top to bottom. Starting pitching might be good like it was at the beginning of the year, but now we're struggling. Bullpen sucked at the beginning of the year. Now it's better. Hitting wasn't good, at the very beginning, and then we got that 9 consecutive series win, and it was fantastic. 6-run average per game for a month and a half, and then for a month and a half, we sucked, and we were averaging 1 to 3 runs. So now, since playing the Guardians and sweeping them, it feels like we're back, and hopefully that will continue. And again, we will be buyers at the trade deadline, looking for a couple, players, maybe a right fielder, another first baseman, and then definitely 2 or 3 relief pitchers to help. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Big Ben. And down goes Williamson with a strikeout. 1 away. Nice job by Bailey Ober. We're not haters here. Nice electric punch out there. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. See ya. Nice K by Bailey. And we'll go over numbers after the 4th inning is over. About halfway through the matchup. Next up is Cole Young, 1-for-1 with a run. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Captain says we're 4 away from 30. Let's try to get to 30. The goal is 50 or more. So we're already halfway there, and we're just trying to get to that 30, then 40, and then 50. First pitch from Ober to Young. Takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Let's go, Cole. 0-1 pitch. High and away, 4-seam fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike from Ober to Young. Hey, we have to talk about it because that was a turning point for our season. You can be a Guardian fan all you want, but again, that's not us rubbing it in. That's just us mentioning that that's what turned our season around. If you guys would have played us 2 weeks prior, you would have swept us. So, again, you're going to be battling it out with the Minnesota Twins, and a few other teams. Nobody's going to catch the Tigers, but again, we don't do anything here to rub it in. Again, it's just mentioning the fact that you guys are a great team and we swept you. And again, we're back on track. And down goes Young, 2 away. Next up is J.P. Crawford. First pitch to J.P. takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and inside with that slider, 84 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ober to Crawford. Let's go, JP. Let's go, Crawdaddy. We need you. 1-1 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 90 miles an hour to JP. 2 balls and 1 strike from Ober to Crawford. 2-1 pitch, fouls that one off, high and away. 89 miles an hour, four-seam fastball by Ober. 2 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Ober on the mound, JP in the box. Let's go, baby. And down goes JP. And even though JP doesn't have anything substantial just yet, we're still sitting at a nice 6-0 lead. Yeah, and trust me, Jacob, you know, we have our own fucking struggles in Seattle. We won 9 series in a row, and then we're dog shit for a month and a half. So we were getting swept left and right. We were winning 1 game out of 3, 1 game out of 4. So trust me, you know, if anyone understands what it's like to feel pain as a baseball fan, it's fucking us. We've only had 4 good years out of 40. There's no one else in MLB that can say that. And we have never even been to a fucking World Series. We're the only team. So you might be frustrated, you know, sometimes with your Guardians. But again, it has nothing to compare to being a Seattle Mariner fan day in and day out. That is facts. But the difference is the future is really, really bright, you know, since the Cal era in 2022. From 2022 to 2042, we should have 10 to 15 playoff appearances. And in that 10 to 15 playoff appearances in 20 years, starting from 2022 to 2042, we should hopefully be able to make at least 1 or 2 World Series. We may not win the first time that we go, but if we keep building, a particular way, we can get lucky with injuries and find the right combination of young and OGs, we might be able to do it. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning and see who's up next for Minnesota. Next up for the Twins, 0 for 1 with a K, second baseman, Cody Clemens. Batting second, left fielder, 0 for 1, Harrison Bader. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, catcher, Christian Vasquez. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And plus, the Guardians are good, man. I love watching you guys play. You guys are fun. You know, again, I don't know if anyone anticipated the Tigers being so good this year, you know, but normally it's a 3-team race with the Tigers, Guardians, and Twins. And obviously, Twins have fell back into the division a little bit, but, you know, we'll see where it goes. Unfortunate that Crawford struck out swinging there. They're in the top of the 4th, but hopefully we'll be able to keep it moving. First pitch from Wu to Clemens, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Wu, giving you that electricity, baby. Behind in the count, 0-2 to Cody Clemens. Let's go, Wu. And again, Wu got roughed up in his last few starts. Remember, just like a few weeks back, Wu was like 5-1, you know, and he was looking like, man, this guy should maybe be an all-star. And then since then, he's only won 1 game and he's lost 4. So ERA went up from, you know, low 2s all the way to 3. So it's still, which is great, as Clemens strikes out swinging on 3 pitches. See ya. And again, but you know, Wu held it down when Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, and Bryce Miller were injured. But now, you know, people are kind of figuring him out. And even Luis Castillo, that was doing pretty good, is starting to get figured out as well. And we saw how Emerson Hancock got blasted in his last start. So, you know, hopefully the hitting will continue. The bullpen will continue to get better. And then we can just minimize, you know, some of these big home runs and big RBIs that we're getting from our starting pitching. But if it just so happens that we end up giving up 4 runs a game from starting pitching, but we score more, who gives a fuck? We're winning the game. You know, as long as we're winning, that's all that matters. And again, you know, hopefully we can continue to climb the standings. You know, we got to catch the Stros, baby. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Four-seam fastball behind in the count, 0-2 from Wu to Bader. Don't even think about putting this helmet on for a home run, Harrison. 0-2 pitch. That one's fouled off high and away. 96 miles an hour by Brian Wu. Behind in the count, no balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, and 1 out. 6-0 Mariner lead. And we're pacing for 10 to 12 runs here today. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. And Woo is getting hot. I love it, baby. Let's go. Bring that electricity, Brian Woo. And I need to be able to see this kind of emotion. Let's go. Feeling it, baby. Next up, 0 for 1 with a K, catcher Christian Vasquez. Josh in the building. What's good? All right, take care, brother. Enjoy Monday Night Raw, and thank you so much for your support. You're my brother from another mother. You're one of the longest tenured regular watchers to the channel. You never, you've always been here. You've always been loyal, and I will never forget it. Appreciate you. Enjoy Monday Night Raw, and I'll probably message you after the show is over. Appreciate you very much. Odin's son, one of the best OGs. One of the realest of the real, and they always say real recognizes real, and he may live in New York and I live in Oregon, but at one point before it's all said and done, we will meet up. Appreciate you, brother. Have a great rest of your day, and have a great rest of your work week as well. 0-1 pitch. That one's fouled off behind in the count. 0-2. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Vasquez, and another punch out by Brian Woo. Woo is wooing all over their ass. Let's go. Nice job, Brian. End of the fourth inning, 6-0 Mariners. And he was a little shaky early on. He gave up, 4 hits, and we have an error. So do they, but we got 6 runs, 6 hits and an error, no runs, 4 hits and an error. But every time they ended up getting a couple hits, what did Woo do? Shut it down, either with a big strikeout, right? Or ended up getting a force out and just being able to plug away, even with runners at second and third or first and second. Let's take a look at the stat line so far. Top of the 5th inning, Brian Woo, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 8 Ks. That's what I'm fucking talking about, baby. And Bailey Ober, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks, 70 pitches, 47 strikes, 4.97 ERA. And then for Woo, 66 pitches, 45 strikes, 2.99 ERA. So getting his ERA below 3, which is great. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Going to the top of the 5th inning, 6-0 Mariners. And I always make a bunch of thumbnails. I'm always, going to be creative. And with a 4-game series, I usually will make like 6 or 7, and I'll try to choose the best one. And my thumbnail I was going to use was actually this one. I was going to have Woo on the mound, but, lately when I put pitchers on the mound, they get crushed, whether it's like Gilbert or Kirby. And I just didn't want to jinx Brian Woo. And I could, and obviously I can't use this later in the series because he's only pitching today. But I ended up making up that. But then I figured, the way that Cal has been playing lately, again, if people are looking for a game, this will probably draw a few more eyeballs and whatnot. But again, I did make one with Woo on it. But again, I just didn't want to jinx the player. And it looks like everything is looking Woo right now, and I love it. Next up for the Mariners, 2 RBIs in June, and he had 2 RBIs at his last at-bat with a 2-run jack. And overly aggressive on the first pitch. And what happens? Popped up to the shortstop. Same old Julio ways, 1 away. And again, for every one time that he does something great, Trident's up, then the next at-bat ends up being a dud where he ends up, striking out, obviously in 3 pitches, looking, swinging, or getting out on the first or second pitch with a pop up or a ground out, which could have been prevented, you would think, if he just would have worked the count. But I guess we have to live and die by Julio being this type of player. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. 31 home runs on the year, pacing for 65 to 70. First pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball by Ober, 1-0 count. Let's go, big dumper. And not only are we seeing one of the best power seasons out of any catcher of all time, we're actually watching one of the best seasons out of any player playing any position all time. 1-0 pitch, and Cal pulling a Julio, popping out to second, 2 away. Okay, Cal, still love you. Down goes Cal Raleigh, but he'll get something maybe later in the matchup. Next up, DHing today, Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. And again, Polo hasn't been the same hitter that he was in April, batting .384 with 9 homers, but he has been able to get a lot of singles, doubles, and RBI opportunities, so we'll take that. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, tries to paint that corner, Ober, and does. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. 6-0 Mariner lead here in the top of the 5th. Let's go, Polo. Let's get it, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes before the stream ends. And we're shooting for 100 in the donos on every single stream. We're at, 27? 73 to go. And I got to go get new shoes tomorrow. Obviously walking 5 miles a day, 7 days a week for 2 years straight. Shoes don't last very long, even when you get expensive ones. And down goes Polo. And again, didn't really expect anything that particular inning, but we have been doing things with 2 outs. And unfortunately, Polo can't get on board. But I usually, walking 5 miles a day, 7 days a week, I can only make a shoe last, even if it's like an Air Max Vapor or some Ons, Swiss, brand. I'm just looking for something that's going to be comfortable, that is going to last. But no matter what brand I choose, if I pay, $150 to $200 for a shoe, they're still going to wear out at the same time. So it really comes down to, how it looks, but really the comfort level, and being able to have a full air bubble or having some kind of, obviously, protection on the bottom of the shoe, so that way I can, go for those long walks with Paisley Pup. And looks like we're going to have a victory walk here in a few, maybe about an hour and a half. And I can't wait to be able to do that. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 5th inning and see who's up next for the Twins. Next up for the Twins, 0 for 2 with a K, center fielder Byron Buxton. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, DHing Matt Wallner. And batting third, playing third base, having a good day so far, 2 for 2, Brooks Lee. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Let's go. 4-game series against Minnesota on the road. Got to win game 1, and we got to win 3 out of 4. Let me give you a quick recap for anyone that's just tuning in. So J.P. Crawford in the top of the 3rd inning hit a sac fly to center. And when he did that, Williamson scores, and that ended up making it 1-0 Seattle. Later in that inning, Julio Rodriguez, 2 RBIs of all of June, ends up hitting a 2-run jack to left center, 442 feet, hasn't homered in over a month. Young was on board, 3-0 Mariners. Then later in that inning, right, with Randy and Cal Raleigh on board, Luke Raley comes to the box and says, see ya, 3-run jack, 436 feet, and we're up 6-0, and that's what I love about this team. You never know when the big plays are going to happen. First pitch from Wu to Buxton, takes a strike swinging high and inside, 0-1 count. Keep it going, Wu, let's go, baby. Wu on the mound, Buxton in the box, and Buxton is the best player on the Twins in 2025, and I'm actually happy that he's been able to have a injury-free, season up to this point. Don't want to jinx him, but he normally can't stay healthy for a full year. But again, they talked about him for years before he got the call-up on how good he could be, and injuries have definitely riddled, his potential, but when he's healthy, very good player. 0-1 pitch. Low and at the knees, 1 ball and 1 strike from Wu to Buxton. Ben in the building, what's good? That would be great. I am going on the 4th of July, and I'm hoping it's going to be Paul Skeens versus like Logan Gilbert or Brian Wu. And I don't know if it will line up that way, but I only go to like 1 or 2 games a year because I'm grinding here. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And Byron Buxton goes down. See ya! Brian Wu staying hot, baby. Is that what, his 9th K? Is that number 9 by Wu? It is. Wow. And I would have been totally content with him getting 4 to 7. But if you can get to that 7 to 10 range with 6 runs, to give that support, let's go. Next up is Matt Wallner, 0 for 2 with a K. One more K, and he's at 10. Hell, Wu might be able to get to 12 before he exits. Let's go. All right, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 40, and then that way we can hit that 50 number before the stream ends. We're about halfway through. Wallner in play. Fouls out to third baseman Ben Williamson. 2 away. 9 Ks all day. He's at 9 now. Next up is third baseman Brooks Lee. So it looks like I wouldn't have jinxed him either way if I would have used the Bryant Wu thumb or if I, would have used the Cal that I used. But normally I'm not going to use too many pitchers. I'm not going to usually use Bryce Miller or Logan Evans or Emerson Hancock or even Luis Castillo. And Lee fouls out to third, and that is the end of the 5th inning. Great defense there by the Mariners. But occasionally I'll do Logan Gilbert as the main, Brian Wu, especially this year, and then once in a while George Kirby. But I don't know. Kirby still has been a little shaky, and I think I would rather go with Cal or someone else. So, but nice job by Brian Wu, wheeling and dealing. End of the 5th inning, 9 Ks with a 6-0 lead. Yes, please. I hope every single game in the series goes like this. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 2 with a run and a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. 6-pitch inning for Brian Wu. Amazing. Batting second, 1 for 1 with a 3-run jack. 3 ribbies. Luke Raley. And batting third, 0 for 2, right fielder Dominic Canzone. Let's go Mariners. Tridents up. It's a good fucking day when our ace, number 2 pitcher on the team, the Logan Gilbert's got fucking 9 Ks in the 5th. Julio homers for the first time in a month. And Luke Raley showing that he's worth being on this team. Let's fucking go. Tridents up. First pitch from Bailey Ober to Randy Arozarena. Big swing and a miss in the zone. Four-seam fastball, 89 miles an hour. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Low and away. Misses the plate by about 2 feet by Bailey Ober. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. Bailey Ober on the mound. Randy in the box. Top of the 6th inning, 6-0 Mariners. Let's go, baby. One pitch in play, and Randy Arozarena pops out to second. 1 away. Next up for the Mariners with a 3-run jack in his first attempt in the box, Nuke Raley. Let's go, Nuke. Luke. Bring that electricity again, baby. First pitch, fouls that one off. 0-1 count. But it really does show you how you can go through so many emotions as a baseball fan, where things can be going great, and then all of a sudden things can go to shit real quick. and you just have to be patient. And a lot of baseball fans aren't. It's not the same as like football where you only play a certain amount of games. I mean, you're playing 162. NBA is 82. College football and NFL, depending on how far you go, is going to be like 15 to 20. So depending on playoffs and how far you're going in the playoff structure. It's one of those things you just have to have the faith. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ober to Rayleigh. 1-2 pitch, high and away with that sweeper. 77 miles an hour by Bailey Ober. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Luke Rayleigh. 2-2 pitch, and big swing and a miss. No Prudence up on this at-bat. Down goes Luke Rayleigh. 2 away. It's okay, Luke. You always hustle, and I appreciate that about you. Next up, a guy that's been hot lately since he got the call up, and we decided to go with him over Leody Taveras. Smart decision, just like obviously going with Luke Rayleigh over Rowdy Tellez, and it's working out pretty damn well. Dominic Canzone. Let's go, Dom. 0 for 2 so far. See if we can get Dom on the board. First pitch from Ober to Canzone. Fouls that one off. 0-1 count. Let's go, Dom. Bring that electricity, baby. There we go, baby. There it is. 0-1 pitch. Back. See ya! Let's go. Canzone homers to right center, 407 feet. Let's fucking go, baby. Sometimes you just have a feeling when good things are going to happen. Nice job to bring that electricity. See ya! Big 407 feet homer by Dominic Canzone. Let's go, baby. Dom, baby. Hell yeah. Next up, third baseman Ben Williamson. First pitch, takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, and flied out to right, and that is the end of the Mariners in the top of the 6th inning, with the damage is done by Dominic Canzone. I mean, really the only player that, that we're maybe hoping to get a chance to see pinch hit, if it does happen, might be Donovan Solano. And I don't think I ever would have thought that I would say that from a player that started off the year 4 for 40, batting 100. And even at one point in this season, he was batting under 100. It was .050. He was batting under 100. And again, to be able to be as hot as he has been within the last couple weeks, again, he gets a day off from playing first base, but Luke Rayleigh fills in and gives us the same kind of production that we might have gotten from Donovan Solano today. And 7-0 Mariner lead. Is that good? Let's go. Trident's up. Let's go, baby. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and let's see if we can get Brian Wu in double digits and strikeouts. See if we can get 2 out of 3, possibly. Let's go. I mean, he's sitting at 9. We want him to get to at least 10. But if he can get to 11 or 12, then you're really cooking. That'll be the best punch-out total we've seen since Logan Gilbert's 10 in his first game back, and George Kirby's 14, tying a career high, a few days ago. Next up for the Twins, 1 for 1 with a base on ball, right fielder Trevor Larnach. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, shortstop Carlos Correa. And batting third, the former Seattle Mariner, 1 for 2, first baseman Ty France. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We're fucking electric, baby. Let's go. Bottom of the 6th inning, 7-0 Mariners. Is that good? Let's go. Hell of a lot better than being down 7-0 or 9-1 in that second game against the Cubs. But again, you have to have faith. You really want to be able to see how players react when you have a tough situation in front of them. We could have easily lost that game 10-1 and would have maybe lost game number 3. But again, we fought and we only gave up 1 run after the third, a PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong solo jack, and they got to 10, but we went from 9-1 to 10-7. So that shows a lot of heart, a lot of grit, a lot of passion that we're not going to lay down for anybody. And I love that. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Woo to Larnach. Let's go, Woo. Let's get that 10th K, baby. Let's go. Give me the energy. Give me the passion. Let's go. 2-1 pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Brian Woo. 3 balls and 1 strike to Trevor Larnach. I'm just happy that we're being able to see, many different players step up, not just Cal Raleigh. You're getting good production at the bottom end of the order out of Williamson and Young, essentially AAA players. You brought Dominic Canzone up from AAA. He's doing well. Luke Raley was injured. He's back. He's doing well. Randy, for the most part, is doing pretty good. Polo, isn't, as consistent as we would like, but he's still getting hits here and there. And, JP is JP. What can you say? 3-2 pitch, and Woo gives up the first homer of the game in the 6th inning. Nice base knock by Trevor Larnach. See ya, 404 feet. I was hoping that we would be able to have a shutout, but again, this Minnesota team is too good for that. 7-1 Seattle. Nice job by Trevor Larnach by going yard on Brian Woo, and hopefully that'll be the only home run Woo gives up. Next up, shortstop Carlos Correa, and you better be careful on how you pitch to Correa, because Correa is one of those guys that loves to go back-to-back after a teammate goes yard right in front of him in the batting order. So hopefully we don't give up back-to-back homers here, but if it does happen, obviously it'll only be 7-2, not something detrimental like 7-4 or 7-5. So, but hopefully we'll get Correa out. Bottom of the 6th, 7-1 Mariners. The Twins have life, finally, by a solo dinger by Trevor Larnach that he hung right down the middle, and Larnach went yard. And we definitely have to be aware of Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton for the rest of this game. 0-1 pitch, low and inside, changeup, 90 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Woo to Correa. 1-1 pitch, low and away, slider, 87 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike from Woo to Correa. Two-one pitch, inside at the hips. 3 balls and 1 strike from Woo to Correa. Come on, Woo. Let's go, baby. Finish strong. Correa in the box. Brian Woo on the mound. Wheel and deal, Woo. Let's go, baby. Three-one pitch. That one's fouled off by Correa. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Woo to Correa. Let's get that punch out. We need punch out number 10. 2 more likes to 40. Let's get there. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes before the stream ends. And we're sitting at, 27 on the dono train, 73 to go. In play on the 3-2 pitch. And look at that. I predicted it. There it is. Carlos Correa. And again, my ESP is on point. And again, when you watch baseball as much as me, you have an idea of what could happen. And Carlos Correa loves homering after someone just homered. And again, I just mentioned this about a minute ago, that Correa would have a good chance to homer after a teammate homered right before him. And there you go. Back-to-back homers from Larnach to Correa, 7-2 Mariners. Next up, first baseman Ty France. And again, I don't know, how I know these things, but again, if you watch as much film and you cover, the MLB from top to bottom, not just the Seattle Mariners, you have kind of an idea of tendencies of things that I've seen in the past. And if you have a good memory, you can end up making predictions like that. And a lot of times stuff like that will come true. And unfortunately, I don't want Correa to do that, but I had a weird feeling, that was going to happen. And the sports gods know that I'm on point. First pitch to Ty France, fouls that one off, 0-1 count. All right, we're at 40 likes. We need 10 more to get to our goal, to get to 50. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We need 10 more. We got at least 15 or 20 people in the room that haven't done it yet, so please do. 0-1 pitch, in play, and France lines out to center. 1 away. Next up is second baseman Cody Clemens. But at least the Twins have a little bit of life now with back-to-back homers. But hopefully that'll be it for Brian Wu. In play. And Clemens flied out to right, 2 away. Here we go. Down goes Clemens. And hopefully this will be the punch out right here to left fielder Harrison Bader. And then this will be the last inning that Wu will be in, obviously based off pitch count and obviously giving up back-to-back homers. I'm not sure if you really would want him in the 7th. So let's see if we can get the 10th K for Wu here. First pitch to Bader, low and away, sinker, 96 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Come on, Wu. 1-0 pitch, low and away, four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 2 balls and no strikes from Wu to Bader. But again, I feel like I can come up with a couple predictions, every game, every stream, just based on, paying attention to what's going on and understanding the players that we're going against. Now, I got to be a scout myself as well. Got to be able to scout our opponents. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, paints the corner beautifully there by Wu with the sinker, 95 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. 7-0 Mariner lead that ended up turning to 7-1 and 7-2. And Wu ends up getting Bader, but not with the punch out. And it looks like Wu's day will be over, stuck at 9 Ks. 91 pitches, 61 strikes, gave up those back-to-back homers. But again, you want each pitcher to give up 3 runs or less, and he only gave up 2. So I would say that's a pretty successful outing. It would have been better, us obviously being up 7-0 and him giving up nothing. But again, Minnesota does have good players, and every once in a while you're going to get a situation where Larnach homers, and obviously it just so happens Correa is up next, and Correa always has a history, it seems like, whether it's on the Astros or on the Twins or any team that he's on, that if someone before him homers, and you guys will remember this in the future, that he has a very high probability, for whatever reason, homering after someone homers before him. And I don't think that there's too many guys that you can say that about. There's going to be certain players like Aaron Judge who's going to hit home runs at any given time. That's not going to matter. But for a guy like Correa, who's not going to give you 50 home runs every year, you have to pay attention, based on what's happened in the past. And as you guys know, the past loves to repeat itself. Records are meant to be broken, but history repeats itself over and over and over again. You just have to pay attention. Let's go to the top of the 7th inning with a 7-2 Mariner lead. Great day for Wu. Just wish it was a little bit cleaner there at the end, but again, it still feels like we're going to win the game. So, and for Twins fans, at least they now feel like they have a chance, even though it might be a small chance. Next up for the Mariners, here in the 9-hole, 1 for 2 with a run, second baseman Cole Young. Batting second, 0 for 2 with an RBI and a K, shortstop J.P. Crawford. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run, 2 RBIs, solo 2-run dinger He only had 2 RBIs in June and got 2 RBIs today, Julio Rodriguez. And I was waiting for Woo to get that last punch out so I could use this. I don't use this unless we end up having that big day, but, he missed it by 1 punch out, but I don't know if we'll see him in the 7th inning or not. Probably not, I would assume, but having still a Ric Flair Woo type of a performance, and I appreciate you, Brian Woo. All right, Bailey Ober here in the top of the 7th. First pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone to Cole Young. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off by Cole Young. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Let's go, Cole. We need you, baby. Top of the 7th, 7-2 Mariner lead. (0-2) pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ober to Young. Usually games are going to last 2 hours and 30 minutes to 3 hours, unless it goes extra innings, where it could end up being 3 to 4 hours. 1-2 pitch, and Young popped out to second, 1 away. But there's a good chance that this will go for another 45 minutes, probably. Maybe even less than that. I don't know. We'll see. Down goes Cole Young. Next up is J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. First pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 88 miles an hour. 1-0 count. Let's go, Crawdaddy. Let's get it done, baby. (1-0) pitch. J.P. and flies out to left. Still can't get J.P. on base in this particular game, but it's all right. 2 away. He'll have maybe 1 more at-bat before the game is over, and hopefully he'll be able to get a hit then. And next up for the Mariners with a 2-run jack. Finally homers for the first time in over a month, Julio Rodriguez. First pitch, high and away. And of course he swings at a pitch high and away with a curve, 76 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, Julio. They're not pitching right down the middle to try to get it ahead of the count on you, because they know you swing at everything. 0-1 pitch, high and away, fouls that one off, behind in the count, 0-2. Top of the 7th, 7-2 Mariner lead. No balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs to Julio Rodriguez. But I'm happy that he was able to get off the schneid and finally homer. I mean, we would have been cool with like a double or a triple, but for him to actually go yard and have that confidence again, holding the trident, hopefully we'll be able to see Julio homer again in this series. 0-2 pitch, low and away, fouls that one off on a curveball, 77 miles an hour. And Ober is like a lot of other pitchers. They're not going to pitch right down the middle to Julio. And again, they might have done that in Julio's rookie year, in 2022. But once they had film on him, they started to realize that Julio, out of any player in MLB, will literally swing at anything. 5 feet off the plate, doesn't matter. He'll swing at it. And again, when you can use that to your advantage, that ends up, turning into a lot of, strikeout lookings, strikeout swingings, or, shitty attempts at pop-ups and ground-outs where you're reaching, for a baseball that you shouldn't even be swinging at. 1-2 pitch, and that one is fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 out. 7-2 Mariner lead. I would love for us to get to 10, at this point. I don't know if we will, but that's a goal to shoot for, to be able to get into double digits, especially when you have 7 runs by the 7th inning. 1-2 pitch. That one is fouled off low and away with a slider, 82 miles an hour by Bailey Ober. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. And we haven't seen Julio have too many 7-pitch at-bats, in 2025. And pitch number 8 is incoming here shortly. Come on, Julio. It's not like we're expecting you to get a homer, but do something. And he strikes out. Not surprised. But I guess that's what we're going to get out of a player like this. It's either going to be a strikeout swinging, a strikeout looking, a shitty pop-up, a shitty ground out after the first or second pitch, and then once a month, he'll hit a homer. And I guess that month and that particular day is today. But again, hard to be a successful baseball player in the box when you have that approach. But I am happy that he got off the schneid and ended up homering. He has doubled his RBI count from 2 to 4 in June, and this is the first time in a month that he's homered. But again, he may not get anything else the rest of the game. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning and see who's coming in for the Mariners. I assume Wu, his day is done. He's at 91 pitches, but we will find out here shortly. And Bizzardo is coming in, and that's a good choice. Gabe Spire is no longer the number 2 guy in the bullpen. It goes Matt Brash 1, Gabe Spire goes down to maybe 3 or 4, and Bizzardo is our number 2. And I do like this decision to go with Bizzardo here. He's one of the very few guys besides Matt Brash and Andres Munoz where I actually will use his photo in the streams. Not very many guys. I'll use Gabe. I'll use his photo, but seems like Gabe has been more of a liability lately. And I like lefties, and he is no Taylor Saucedo. He's much better than that. But Gabe is not trustworthy right now. But I feel like even though Bizzardo is shaky at times, he's more trustworthy now than Gabe is. Gabe overall normally is a better pitcher overall, but if we're talking about who's been pitching better lately, it's Bizzardo. He's number 2 to Matt Brash, and hopefully he'll end up mowing down the side. Let's see who's up next here for Edward Bizzardo. Next up, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks in the 9-hole, catcher Christian Vasquez. Batting second, back at the top of the order, center fielder Byron Buxton. And batting third, DHing Matt Wallner. Trident's up, let's go M's. That's true, Miles. And again, it just depends on who they're bringing in and what we're at, based on the score. I mean, hell, even at this point at 7-2, we could probably bring in Trent Thornton, Casey Legomina, Vargas even, and we could probably still be okay. It's not like we're going to have this epic meltdown where a pitcher comes in and gives up 5, 6, 7 runs. I feel like that time has passed and gone. And even those guys that we were like, oh no, Colin Snyder, oh no, Legomina, oh no, Trent Thornton. I feel like everyone besides Colin Snyder, because he's on the IL still, everyone has gotten better, lately. And hopefully that is a good trend for the other guys. Now we just have to hope that Julio is more consistent, Dylan Moore gets out of the slump, and on top of that, Gabe Spire turns back to the good Gabe, not the Gabe that is a liability. 0-2 pitch. High and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Vasquez. Let him know all day. Let's get there. Yeah, Brian Wu's day is done, and he finished with 9. I was really hoping that he would get to 10, but he just missed the 10th K. But also giving up back-to-back bombs to Larnach and Correa had something to do with that also. I think if he would have gotten only 1 home run, like Correa, Larnach could have gotten punched out, but, 9 is still solid. 1-2 pitch. And that is low and away with the sinker, 95 miles an hour by Bizzardo. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no out. 7-2 Mariner lead. Let's go, Bizzardo. And I think the only player that I want to be able to see, if they have a chance to come in, is Donovan Solano. Never thought I would say that, but I don't really care if we see Mitch Garver pinch hit, but again, I want to see Solano to see if he can keep, that hot streak going. And again, the last time that you want to, have a guy sit is when he's been hot. You want that guy to keep playing until he cools off a little bit and then, have someone replace him. But in fairness, Luke Raley played first and he got a 3-run jack. So, we essentially got what I was hoping for from that position. There we go. 1 away. Down goes Vasquez. Nice job, Bizzardo. As Vasquez pops out to right. Canzone is there. Next up is Byron Buxton. First pitch right down the middle, fouled off. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. low and away with the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bizzardo to Buxton. The JP Crawford basketball jersey night is fire. Like, there's not too many things that are non-baseball related, like a basketball jersey that's Mariners, but they actually made it look awesome. Like, every once in a while there'll be a few things of merch that I'll see, like this hat that I got on the last 4th of July. I'm always looking for those rare, unique items that they do for giveaways or that they have at the team store, like the mini trident that I have, the hat, the chain, the baubles, and all the other Mariner things that I have, which is a lot. But definitely like that JP basketball jersey. That's pretty cool. And Buxton pops up to third base. Ben Williamson is there, 2 away. Nice out on that 2-1 pitch. Nice job, Bizzardo. Number 2 guy in the pen. Obviously, Munoz is our closer, so, Brash 1, Bizzardo 2, and then it's everybody else. I don't even think we have a number 3 because I don't really trust anybody else. Those are the only 2 guys I really trust, right? Gabe, don't trust you. Trent, I don't really trust you. Snyder, don't trust you. Legomina, don't trust you. Vargas, don't trust you. But we'll see where it goes. First pitch to Wallner. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. Wallner in the box. Bizzardo on the mound. And crazy to think of like how bad Bizzardo was last year. He was just as bad as Taylor Saucedo. Where every time he came in, you were like, fuck no. You knew something bad was going to happen. So let's give credit to Eduard Bizzardo on how good that he's been able to, be one of the worst on the team. And now he's number 2 behind Brash. No one will ever be ahead of Brash, ever. He will always be our 1 as long as he's on the team and he's healthy. And then Munoz, no one will ever be better than him at a closer. So nice to be able to see guys go from shitty and make a name for themselves. Same thing with like Donovan Solano and a few others. Shitty at the beginning of the year. Now, we can't wait to see what he does next. 1-1 pitch. That one's fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Wallner. 1-2 pitch and got him. That's what I'm talking about, baby. And again, I don't throw up photos of many guys. I mean, I don't even know if I'll be throwing Gabe photos up for a while because, I just can't trust them. But Brash photos, Bizzardo photos, Munoz photos, yes, please. Nice job, Bizzardo. And it's nice when you have faith in a guy rather than when Gabe Spire comes in and you're just hoping that he doesn't give up a wild pitch for a run, a big RBI, or a big home run. You don't have that same feeling with Bizzardo anymore, thank God. All right, here we go. We need some late inning heroics. 1 for 3 with a run and a K. If Cal were to homer, it would be in this inning or the 9th, but he probably won't get up in the 9th inning, unless we go on a massive run here in the 8th. Next up, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Could you go yard here? Home run number 32? You never know. Batting second, 0 for 3, DHing Jorge Polanco. Let's take Polo out and put in Donovan Solano. What do you say? And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run and a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And they're bringing in Wentz. Ober, his day is done. And he got fucked up today. 4-4 record, ERA of 4.54. Let's look at Ober's final numbers. 7 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 7 Ks, 7.77. But you're not lucky, my guy. 102 pitches, 71 strikes, 4.90 ERA. We definitely took care of Bailey Ober today. Good job, Mariners. Time for big dumper, baby. Let's go. And there's going to be games where JP or certain individuals don't have the best game. JP's 0 for 3, Polo's 0 for 3, but everyone else has a hit. All right. So again, we can sacrifice, a game or two for a JP and a Polo not to have anything, but there's still a chance before this game is over where they still may be able to get a hit a piece, and again, it would be nice to be able to see. And then also yesterday, being able to score runs in every inning except the 3rd inning for a good chunk of that game. We never really see the Mariners be that active. But again, Uncle Mo is real. And when you can have that momentum, anything is possible. 5 likes to 50. Let's get there. Captain in all day, leading the charge. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes or more. We've been very consistent with that number for weeks and months now, so we want to make sure we're hitting that for the algorithm, and also want to give a special shout out to all the individuals that are watching across the world. First pitch to Cal Raleigh, high and inside, 1-0 count. But we have 3,000 regular viewers that come to the channel, which is awesome. And again, we got United States, 70% of the people, but Venezuela, 5.2, Mexico, 3.7, Dominican Republic, 2.2, Philippines, Canada, Japan, Colombia, India, Panama, New Zealand, Australia, and a few others. If you're watching from one of those countries, I salute you, I appreciate you, and I thank you. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, 1 ball and 1 strike from Wentz to Cal Raleigh. Dave in the building, what's good? And we got a pretty good Canada following as well. Like our boy Lauren and a few others too. Appreciate you. Let's go, Big Dumper. 1-1 pitch. Takes a strike swinging. Low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Big Dumper. Come on, Cal. See if we can get home run number 32 here. Wheel and deal, Cal. Bring that electricity, Cal. Cal trying to homer for the 4th straight game. Hard thing to do. Crazy to think that he's leading the majors with 31 homers. Aaron Judge with 28. Ohtani with 26. And Cal is a catcher. You know, that's just the craziest shit of it all. You know, number 1 all time is Salvador Perez with 48 in a full season. We're a month away from the All-Star break. 1-2 pitch, and Cal flies out to second. 1 away. No home run there for Cal. Next up, 0 for 3, Jorge Polanco. I mean, but this would be a opportunity where you could put in Donovan Solano, and he could come in and do something, but you're up 7-2, so they're going to try to let him get at least 1 more at-bat here. Let's see if Polo can get a single. 1-0 pitch, fouls that one off high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody out, or nobody on with 1 out, 7-2, Mariner lead. Let's go, Polo. One pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Wentz to Polo. Two-one pitch. Takes a strike looking high and inside. Tries to paint the corner. Should have been probably called ball, but they give him the call there. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Wentz on the mound and Polo in the box. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Should have put in Donovan Solano. When a guy's 0 for 3, it's kind of hard to get that last hit at the end of the game. I would have put Donovan Solano DHing there, but hopefully we get Donovan tomorrow. You know, and I wouldn't even mind Donovan Solano DHing over Polo, you know, for a couple games. Give Polo a little bit of a rest and go with the hot hand, but we'll see what happens with the lineup card tomorrow. Next up, left fielder Randy Arozarena. So Polo went 0 for 4, JP's 0 for 3, and depending on how far we can get into the lineup, we might be able to see JP, maybe, but we're going to need a couple hits to get to him. In play, there we go. And Randy Arozarena trying to get JP to go 1 for 4. He says, I'm going to get a hit. Nice single to right, all the way back to the wall. Nice job, Randy Arozarena. Nice job, Randy. And now we have Dylan Moore coming in, pinch hitting for Luke Raley. I don't know about that. But I guess if there's any time to try to get a guy off the schneid and you put him in is when you're up by 5, right, with 2 outs. But I'm not sure if Dylan will be able to turn it around. I hope he will, but But anytime they end up having a guy pinch hit late, it typically is because the pitcher went from a right-handed pitcher to a lefty. And that's the reason why Luke Raley, they think that, since it's a lefty, that Luke can't hit a lefty, but we obviously know he can, so it would make more sense. Who would you rather have, a guy that hit a 3-run bomb early in the game, right? Or go to a guy that can't hit and that's been on the biggest slump for the Mariners? Just because the guy went from a right-handed pitcher, from Ober to Wentz, and then obviously who's a lefty, See, that type of, they say common sense in baseball is ridiculous. Give me the better hitter, regardless if it's a right-handed pitcher or a left-handed pitcher. That shouldn't fucking matter. First pitch to Demo, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. But again, it's a lefty that's on the mound, captain, and that's why they made that substitution. Lefty pitcher, lefty hitter, let's swap them for a righty. But I feel like it doesn't work out. Like most of the time when they go with a substitution for a guy that's not very good of a hitter, right? Like how many times does that guy hit a home run or get a big single, double, triple, or RBI? Like what, 10% of the time? Like give me Luke Raley, especially a guy that went for a fucking 3-run bomb. You're telling me that he can't hit a lefty pitcher? Fuck out of here. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dylan Moore. Come on, Demo. 1-2 pitch. 4-seam fastball, high and away, fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Wentz on the mound, Demo in the box. Yeah, but also, too, don't act like Demo's got 0 home runs for the season. He's got 8. So when he was hot at the beginning of the year with Polo, he was really good. He just hasn't done anything in a couple months. And also he's not an everyday player. He's not like Julio, where he gets all these reps, and Julio continues to do the same dumb shit over and over. And then he finally ended up getting that 2-run homer today. If Demo was an everyday player, I think that he would have got out of the slump faster than Julio. I don't know if that's really saying a whole lot, but, it's hard for a guy that's not playing every day to get back into the groove, And then you start, baseball is mental, It's not just physical, it's mental too. Probably the most mental sport out of all. Basketball, baseball, hockey. I would say hockey and baseball are the most mental, where you could really, lose a lot of confidence in yourself and your abilities. It's easy to get back on track. On the NBA, you make a layup, you hit a 3, you make a free throw. In the NFL, you grab, a nice 15-yard grab, you get a goal line look. You get a rushing touchdown, you're back off the schneid. But in baseball and hockey, shit, you can go weeks and months without scoring, assisting, or getting a hit or a home run. And then over time, that can really wear you down. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Wentz to Moore. Polo was great, at the beginning of the year, 384 average in April, 9 home runs. Then he was dog shit, for a while. And then he got good again, where he was not hitting home runs anymore, but he was getting singles, doubles, and getting some key RBIs for us. So you kind of have to take what you can get from certain guys. But I still don't like that mentality that if it's a left-handed pitcher, as Demo strikes out looking, no surprise there. But give me the better hitter, regardless if they switch from a righty to a lefty. If the guy ends up being a lefty in the box and it just so happens they substitute from a righty, Obear, to Wentz, who's a lefty, I could care less if the lefty is Skubal. Fucking keep the guy in, and again, I know they want to give a guy like Demo a chance, to be able to get out of the slump like Julio did, but sometimes, I don't want to say Demo is a lost cause, but for a guy like Demo, if he doesn't end up being an everyday player, he may never, be able to recover this season. It might just be too mental and too tough, where he might just be done. And he might be just stuck at that 8 home run number unless there's an injury, and then he ends up being an everyday player, and then he eventually gets out of the slump. But, when you're only getting 1 at-bat every few games, and you already have been shitty in the last 30 at-bats with like 1 hit, and a couple walks and a couple plunks, your confidence is probably not that very high. And, not only do the fans recognize it, you best believe Dylan Moore understands that he's sucking right now. So, but at least we have a 5-run lead, and let's go to the bottom of the 8th and see if we can end up keeping the Twins at 2. And then Demo is going to play first base for Luke Raley there. And they're going to bring in Pop for Bizzardo. Another guy that I don't trust. Nice to be able to see another guy from AAA get the call up and whatnot, but Pop did okay in his first opportunity, and then the next one he was a little shaky. So we'll see what we get here out of Pop. Next up, 2 for 3, third baseman Brooks Lee. Maybe one of the only guys in the game that's having a good game besides Larnach and Correa. Batting second, right fielder Trevor Larnach, obviously with that solo jack. And batting third, shortstop Carlos Correa, also with a solo jack to give them the 2 runs. Bottom of the 8th, 7-2 Mariners. Tridents up. First pitch to Brooks Lee from Zach Pop. Low and at the knees. Sinker, 96 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes the strike looking. Paints the corner beautifully by Zach Pop. 1 ball and 1 strike from Pop to Lee. And Lee grounds out to second on a 1-1 pitch. Throw to first. 1 away. Next up for the Twins, right fielder Trevor Larnach. 2 for 2 with a run, RBI, base on ball, and a solo dinger to get him to 1. First pitch to Trevor Larnach from Zach Pop. Takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. They don't have any good Mariner Zach Pop photos. Obviously, former Blue Jay. That's where most people remember him from the Blue Jays or the Marlins. So 0-1 pitch. That one's fouled off. Behind the count, 0-2 from Pop to Larnach. 0-2 pitch. High and away with the sinker, 97 miles an hour to Trevor Larnach. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Pop to Larnach. Bottom of the 8th, 7-2 Mariner lead. One-two pitch, and Larnach strikes out swinging. There we go. Nice job by Zach Pop. 1 away to 2 away. See ya. No home run for you, Trevor. And now batting third, 1 for 3 with a run, RBI, and a K, Carlos Correa. Already has the home run after Larnach, and again, out of all the players in the MLB, all of them, Correa is one of the top 2 or top 3 overall that loves homering after someone homered before him, and wasn't really shocked since we mentioned it, and then he did it. But I don't feel a home run here at this at-bat. We should be able to get him out. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Pop to Correa. Yeah, and obviously as much as, we talk, good, about certain individuals and how others, are struggling like Julio, it's not like any of us, including myself, could do anything that these guys are doing on the professional level. Hell, even on the AAA level, AA, single A, high A, to be a professional baseball player is one of the hardest things to do in professional sports. Obviously, if you have the height, you might be able to make the NBA. You have the athleticism, you might be able to play college football or the NFL if you're in that top 1%, top 2%. But obviously, Correa getting that single to center on that 2-1 pitch. Nice job there by Carlos. But again, I feel as far as like NHL and MLB, those have got to be 2 of the hardest to be able to come up in. Obviously, NFL and NBA are extremely hard as well. But as far as the things that you have to do on a daily basis, if you're a pitcher or if you're a two-way player having to play catcher and have to hit, or if you're someone that has to skate and you have to be able to score goals, assist, beat people up, and obviously, do all of these things. Like, I feel there's just a lot more responsibility to be a good player and a lot more things that are more pressure, on the NHL level and the MLB level. Hard to be consistent in those sports. And it's harder to bounce back from slumps in baseball and the NHL than it is in the NFL or the NBA. You can get off a slump a lot faster in those sports. First pitch from Pop to France. High and inside with the sinker. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. And fielder's choice to the shortstop, Correa, out at second. And that is the end of the Twins. Nice job by Zach Pop. Let's go to the top of the ninth and see if we can get a few more runs. 1 for 3 with a run and an RBI. Right fielder, Dominic Canzone. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a run and a K. Third baseman, Ben Williamson. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run, second baseman, Cole Young. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Megan in the building. How are you? Reflect in the building. What's good? All right, let me get everything formatted. 1 sec here. Brian Wu has gone 6+ innings in all 15 starts this season. That's most in MLB. 3 more than any AL pitcher. Wu also matched his career high of 9 punch-outs. He could have gotten 10 if he didn't give up those back-to-back homers, but it is what it is. Next up in the box is Dominic Canzone. Wentz on the mound. First pitch. Takes a strike looking in the zone. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking. Paints that corner by Wentz. Behind in the count 0-2 here in the top of the ninth. Let's go, Tom. Reflect in the building. Megan in the building. How are you guys? Long time no see. 0-2 pitch. And Canzone with a very hard hit ball to right and a nice single by Dominic Canzone. Let's go, baby. Next up is Ben Williamson. 1 for 3 with a run and a K. Let's go, Big Ben. In play. On the first pitch, Williamson reached on an infield single to the pitcher. Canzone safe at second. Runners at first and second with no outs. Let's go. Next up is Cole Young. Now they have a mound visit here, trying to figure out what to do with runners at first and second with no outs. Yeah, it's just nice to be able to see guys like Donovan Solano turning his season around, and you're getting production out of Ben and Cole lately. Everyone is contributing besides really Dylan Moore and Julio up till today. Only had 2 ribbies in June, and obviously got 2 ribbies today. So now he's doubled his ribby total to 4, but still having a terrible June. But hopefully getting that home run today will help. But if you look at his other at-bats after the homer, still doing the same Julio type of shit. So, I think that's just going to be the type of guy that he's going to be. He's going to have a few games where he hits a home run here and a home run there, but there's going to be a lot of frustration with him in the box, and that's just what we're going to have to live with, I guess. First pitch from Wentz to Young, takes a strike looking, low and away, tries to paint that corner, 0-1 count. Now, this set looks pretty cool. And again, you just got to be able to find the right type of Sharpie. But if you can't bring that with you, there's something that you could probably find there that you can buy, or something that might be easier to transport unless you buy something there or bring something that's not as bulky. And then you just got to figure out what kind of colored Sharpie, if you have a chance to, some people, they sign with their own Sharpie, so you can't really give them your own, but obviously getting like a yellow, Sharpie on the car or something of that nature, something that pops and stands out. Not that like black would look bad, but, obviously getting a colored one, like, would definitely pop a little bit more. 0-2 pitch, and Young strikes out swinging. 1 away. All right, JP. You're 0 for 3 with a ribby and a K. Let's see if we can get an RBI here by JP or an unexpected 3-run homer to get it to 10-2 Mariners. Let's go, JP. Yeah, gold and silver Sharpies would be sweet. Sarah in the building. What's good? Reflect in the building. Megan in the building. What's good? Top of the ninth inning, 7-2 Mariners lead. Runners at first and second with 1 out. First pitch to JP Crawford, fouled off. 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch, low and away with the 4-seam fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike from Wentz to JP. 1-1 pitch. That one's fouled off, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. See if we can get 1 more run before this game is up. Sarah with $1. Reflect with a tenner. Appreciate you guys. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do for a photo, and I got you. Same thing goes with Reflect as well. Good to see you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 38, 62 to go to hit the goal. 1-2 pitch. Low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. And wild pitch. Williamson gets the second, Canzone the third. And again, wild pitch. Anytime you see one of those, that reminds you of Gabe Spire as also another lefty. And hopefully now we can get an RBI single here by JP Crawford so he can go 1 for 4. Here we go, in play. And damn it, grounded out to first. Down goes JP Crawford. 2 away. Well, you're not going to see JP go 0 for 4 too many times. And hopefully he'll be able to have a more productive series in the next 3 games that we play. He won't go 0 for 4, 0 for 5 the whole series. Best believe that. And he might end up being one of the reasons why we win. And here we go, Julio Rodriguez. First pitch, he connects. Go, go, go. He gets into second with a double. Canzone scores. Williamson, and he's in. There we go. Julio Rodriguez is back, baby. Let's go. Nice job. RBI double 2-run scoring, Canzone and Williamson. Julio with a 2-run jack today, and Julio being a big reason why we're winning here, 9-2. Nice job, J-Rod. Let's go. Yes, sir. And Cal Raleigh still has a chance now to be able to get a homer in his 4th consecutive game. Didn't think we would get to this point, but here we are. First pitch to Cal Raleigh. Fouls that one off, low and in the zone, 0-1 count. 2 RBIs for the month of June, and now Julio's got, 4 in the game? So nice job to be able to go from 2 RBIs in the entire month with no homers in over a month, and then to be able to homer, obviously, in this matchup, and then to be able to do some damage here late. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Wentz to Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Let's see if we get an extra one here. We get to 11. See if Cal can connect with the torpedo bat, baby. Let's go. Trident's up. Best catcher in baseball, and has been for a while. I mean, really the only player right now that's truly struggling is Dylan Moore, and he's not an everyday player. So I think that, again, you know, when we ended up winning 9 consecutive series in a row, we were hot, averaging about 6 runs a game for a month and a half. Then we hit a wall, and we sucked for about a month and a half, averaging 1 to 3 runs. But then we ended up sweeping the Guardians, and now it feels like we're being able to score runs. Now, on the flip side, starting pitching has gotten worse. Cal, back. See ya! Home run number 32. Yo, boy, I told you. And there it is. Cal Raleigh, 379 feet. Julio scores 11-2 Mariners. Fuck yeah! Let's go! Woo! That's what I'm talking about, baby. The best catcher in baseball. Hell, one of the best players in baseball. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, who? It's the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Four homers in 4 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, baby. Woo! 4 consecutive games, baby. Unbelievable. 11-2 Mariners, and we got 3 more games on the road. And like I said, sometimes it's good when you go on the road because then you have the me versus everyone mentality. And again, Cal is great in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, where even when it ends up being maybe like a garbage home run, you know, late in the matchup, where it may not make a difference in the outcome of the game, but you never can count out Cal. Cal can be 0 for 3, 0 for 4. You just give him that one fucking pitch, and he can go yard from the right side or the left side. And again, the most home runs ever hit by a catcher in a full season, 162 games, is 48. Cal Raleigh is at 32, leading MLB, not only for catchers, but for all players, over Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. And not only that, we got a month to go before the All-Star break. How many home runs is Cal Raleigh going to hit? Is he going to hit 60? Is he going to hit 65? Is he going to hit 70? At this point, nobody knows, but I'm here for it. Let's fucking go. Go to the bottom of the 9th now, 11-2 Mariners. Let's go. Big dumper damage, baby. Yes, sir. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Let's go. And again, you know, when you know good things, you know, come in, you know, not only small packages, but big packages as well. And Big Dumper, man, what an amazing season that he's putting together. And again, will he end up winning MVP over Aaron Judge, even if he ends up beating Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani as being the home run king this year? Probably not. I mean, even if Cal ends up being the number 1 guy, there, you know, again, there's going to be so many categories where Aaron Judge is better. And again, Aaron is great, but you can give the award to Aaron any year. Same thing with Shohei Ohtani. Every single year, you can give the AL MVP to Aaron Judge, and you can always give the NL MVP to Shohei Ohtani. But one thing, even though Aaron and Shohei are having great years, especially Judge this year, right? But is Judge doing anything that's never been done? at that position or ever before. And again, he's having a great year, and we'll see, if he ends up winning a triple crown or, with home runs, ribbies, and hits and whatnot. But based on what Cal is doing, doing something that we've never seen by any player at the position, that means something. And hopefully the fans are going to start paying attention a little bit more to Cal Raleigh. And I know they are, especially Cal getting all the pub now of being number one, home run number 32 on the season. Unbelievable. All right, next up is Cody Clemens. First pitch, takes a strike, looking right down the middle by Zach Pop. In there still, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Pop to Clemens. Let's go, baby. Reflect with a 42er. He says, I'm going to get us the goal. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. 42, baby. Did we get to 50 likes? I believe we did. And nice to be able to hit goal on the likes and on the dono train. And also to be watching history unravel in front of our very eyes. It's just an awesome thing to see. And again, you're always going to get people that are going to lean towards the popular guys like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. But all it's going to take is a couple years like this, by Cal to be in the same type of category as the other two. Obviously this is the first year where people are paying attention to Cal, even though if you went back and looked when he was a first-time starter in 2022, he was the best power hitting catcher, hitting 30 to 35 home runs every year. But again, you have to be able to break out and have a special kind of year for people to notice you, and Cal is definitely doing that in 2025. 2-2 pitch, and that one is fouled off by Clemens. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. 11-2 Mariner lead. Let's go. Two pitch. Fouled off again. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Pop to Clemens. That cutter was 93 miles an hour by Zach Pop. Bottom of the 9th, 11-2 Seattle. Love it. And let me know what you want to do photo-wise, and I'll get you guys after the matchup is over here if you want anything. Probably lots of Cal Raleighs in play, and Clemens lined out to first. Roger, his dad, not happy, 1 away. Down goes Cody. Next up, 0 for 3 with a K, left fielder Harrison Bader. First pitch in play. And grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first, 2 away. And potentially the last out here, catcher in the 9-hole, Christian Vasquez. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's still going to be some loyal fans that are still there, but hell, there was some people trickling out when we had an early lead 6-0, and again, you're going to get people, walking around, trying out food and doing that. And down goes Vasquez, and that is it. Final score after the pop out to left, 11-2 final. Mariners win. Let's go, baby. Again, it all started, for us sweeping the Guardians. And once we did that, we got our swag, we got our aura, we got our riz, and we got our confidence back. And it feels good to be the team that won 9 consecutive series in a row. We're that same team again, even though we had a month and a half of great ball, 6 runs average, and then we had a month and a half of only scoring 1 to 3, and now we're back to scoring more than 5 to 6 runs a game on a pretty consistent basis. Final score, Seattle Mariners 11, Minnesota Twins 2, and when the Mariners win, what the fuck do? We fucking dance. Mariners win! Mariners win! Mariners win! Woo! And the icing on the cake was that fucking home run late by Cal, which we didn't even really need, but it's always great to see players not giving up until the game is over. Cal Raleigh, 32 home runs, leading MLB, And again, Cal Raleigh memorabilia going up, 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 and away. Love it. Ana, buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenos noches. Vamos, maneros. ¿Qué pasó? Vamos, maneros. Let's go. Let's go. Trident's up. Megan with a 20. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. With a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Well, let me know what you guys want to do for photos. I'll stay on here for, 5, 10, 15 minutes to make sure we get everyone taken care of. So I got STL. Upset Max didn't drop anything for a photo. And then Sarah, Reflect, and Megan, if there's anything that you guys want to see, just holler. Let me know, and I'm going to stay on here for a few minutes to take care of you guys. And again, a little bit of a chance to be able to listen to the post game and reflect on this huge win by the Mariners. And just to do a little quick recap here, for what happened here today, for anyone that's just tuning in or just hopping in late. So Brian Wu ended up getting the win, which is great, getting him to 6-4. The JP Crawford hit a sac fly to center in the top of the third. Williamson scored 1-0 Mariners. Julio, 2 ribbies in June. Terrible month, right? He gets a 2-run homer with Cole Young on board in the third. 3-0 Mariners. Then Luke Raley filling in for Donovan Solano at first. 3-run jack in the top of the third with Raleigh and Arazarena on board. 6-0 Mariners in the third. And you had a few Minnesotians walk out of the building. Okay. And then at the top of the 6th, Dominic Canzone says, I want to get in on the home run action. He hits a solo jack, 407 feet. 7-0 Mariners. Then in the bottom of the 6th, Brian Wu gave up back-to-back homers to Larnach and Carlos Correa, which I predicted that Correa would homer after someone homered before him, and he did. 7-2 Seattle. And then here late in the matchup in the top of the 9th, Julio doubles the left. Canzone and Williamson scores. He gets his RBI total in June to go from 2 to 6 in one game. Nice job. 9-2 Seattle. And then the best player on the team, hopefully a future Hall of Famer. He will be the starting catcher in the All-Star game. He will be the starting catcher in the WBC, the World Baseball Classic, and hopefully continues to rake. Cal Raleigh homers the left, 379 feet with Julio on board. 11-2 Mariners. Unfucking believable. And we did it all without Donovan Solano. Who would have thought? Unbelievable. All right, let me get some couple Burlesons up here for you. And then we'll get some Bob Gale for Megan. Reflect anything that you want to be able to see. You let me know. I'll throw up some Cal Raleighs, obviously deserving. And again, I could have put Brian Wu or Cal. I made I made a bunch of thumbnails for this series. There's 4 games and I made like 7. So it was either going to be Wu or Cal, but at the last second I changed it from Wu to Cal because I didn't want to jinx Wu, and both did great. So it wouldn't have really mattered who I would have went with today. Appreciate you, Sarah. Appreciate all the people that like, sub, donated, commented, shared. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 60 if we're not already there already. I got to make some more room here. Throw up some Cal Raleighs for Reflect and a few others in the room as well. And I got a few more of those Bob Gales loading. Nice job, Cal. What an amazing season that we're seeing right in front of our very eyes. I mean, it's literally watching Ken Griffey Jr. all over again. And a lot of us, thought that Ken Griffey Jr., 2.0 was going to be Julio Rodriguez since they play the same position. But again, Cal Raleigh has been steady throughout his whole career. And again, it might be a little bit of an ego hit for Julio not to be the face of the franchise anymore. But if you can just play within yourself, good things will happen. You don't have to have the pressure of being the best guy on the team. We already have someone that's better than you. And again, that will probably be better than you your whole career. So for every Jordan, Cal Raleigh, you're going to need a Pippen, right? And a Julio Rodriguez. And hopefully Julio will learn one day before his career ends to be a little bit more patient in the box. And if he's not going to be more patient in the box, you have to be a better hitter like Cal Raleigh. Maybe switch the torpedo bat like Cal did, and maybe you'll have better results. Because I know Julio was one of those guys that refused to use it. Well, it obviously hasn't been really working that great for you in March, April, and June. Maybe in July, it's time to try it out. It can't hurt. It can't get any worse than it's already been getting for you. And, nice job by Cal Raleigh doing Cal Raleigh things. My guy, baby. All right, take care. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. Chris in the building. What's good? I got to go take a victory walk here with Paisley Pup as well. One of the more enjoyable games to be able to watch and call all year, as well as the Cubs series as well, and the Guardian series. Like, we're starting to really turn a corner, and it feels good. Especially when you know how good, the Tigers are, the Yankees are, and the Astros are. We're just trying to get on their level. We have to make up some ground after being shitty for a month and a half. Yeah, you got to start coming in when the game starts, right at the beginning if you can. Oh, Christopher Lloyd? Oh, that would be great. Ah, Anything else that you want to be able to see before I go take Paisley on a walk here? Anything like Seahawk related or Kraken related or anything else you want me to be able to bring up? And we'll be live tomorrow, same time, same place, 4:40 Pacific. And that'll be the same time, obviously, on Wednesday as well. 3 games at 4:40 Pacific. And then on Thursday, they'll be playing at 10:10 a.m. So that one will be a little early. Elliot in the building. What's good? Damn right he's trying to win MVP. And if you really think about it, he's probably the most deserving. You know, the Yankees would still make the playoffs without Judge, more than likely. You know, and the Dodgers without Ohtani could still make it. You know, but the Mariners would never make it without Cal Raleigh. You know, they would be 15, 20 games below 500 without him. So, for some of your other regulars, what do you want before I go? You want Seahawks? You want Zorn? You want Steve Largent? You want, what are you thinking? No problem. Appreciate the support, and I'll obviously be live tomorrow, and I'll see you then. For real. I mean, 5 consecutive games in a row with the homers, so 32, number 1 in MLB. I love it. Okay. Let's do a couple of Jim Zorns for you, and then I got a 10 to Paisley, who I haven't seen in a couple hours. I imagine she's waiting for me. We'll get a few more photos in here for Megan. Appreciate you. And a nice victory by the Seattle Mariners, and hopefully we do the same thing tomorrow. I'll even throw Steve Largent in here right before I go. Football season just right around the corner, a couple months away. Can't wait. All right, well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And again, what a big, big win by the Seattle Mariners. And again, hopefully we can continue to keep breaking. Unbelievable. And again, you just never know, what's going to happen when the Mariners end up being hot on any given day. And hopefully that'll be something that will continue moving forward in this series. We got 3 more games. Final score, Seattle Mariners 11, Minnesota Twins 2. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Shout out to STL, Upset Max, Sarah, Reflect, and Megan, as well as Captain Oreo and All Day helping out with the mod duties. Elliot, great to be able to see you here late, as well as Chris. And hopefully we'll be able to see you a little bit earlier. Anna, love you guys as well. Appreciate you. And again, I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Appreciate you, Megan. And I am out. Tridents up. Go Mariners.